America, it's that time of the year again. Let's go camping. It's only right we bring in an expert. We welcome in our football analyst, Sam Acho. And Sam, training camp officially kicked off yesterday with the Chargers reporting to camp. So give us your top 3 storylines that got you out your mind as we get into the dog days of summer.
The first one is, what will the Cincinnati Bengals do on defense? Yes, we know they had the #1 passing offense in the NFL last year, but Trey Hendrickson is potentially not going to be on this team. There's talks about him being traded. There's a contract dispute. Trey Hendrickson led the NFL in sacks last year with 17.5. And oh, by the way, he had 17.5 more sacks the year before. No one has had more than him in the last 2 years. So what do the Bengals do? They go and draft Shamar Stewart to go and replace Trey Hendrickson. Well, Shamar Stewart is still unsigned. He may not play this year, so that's number 1. Number 2 that's got me out your mind, another Trey, but a different team. This time it's Trey Smith for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the best guard in football, but they only signed him to a franchise tag, a 1-year deal. He he didn't show up to OTAs. He did come to minicamp. Will he be there on a team that struggled to protect Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl last season? What's going to happen there? And then last but not least, it's Jalen Milroe. How quickly will Jalen Milroe be able to adjust to the speed of the game? Or better yet, how quickly will the speed of the game be able to adjust to Jalen Milroe? He's one of the best athletes that came out the entire draft last year, talk less of position, and he's got an opportunity to set the league, just to show the league his abilities.
Well, let's stay right there in Seattle because the Seahawks, they just brought Sam Darnold in a few months ago. So do you think that Jalen Milroe has an opportunity to compete for the starting job?
I think Jalen Milroe does have a chance to compete for a starting job in Seattle, and I understand that Seattle just paid Sam Darnold, I believe it's $37.5 million guaranteed for this year to sign. But Jalen Milroe is got the highest ceiling, I think, of all the quarterbacks in this last year's draft. He's a supreme athlete. When you see him on the field, he's going to open a lot of people's eyes, especially a lot of defensive coordinators. How quickly can he adjust to the speed of the game, to the different styles of defenses he's going to see? How quickly will he be able to show what he can do as a passer, not just as a runner? But if he gets on that field, especially in the preseason, and starts to light things up and show defenses what he can do in his team, I think he'll get a chance to compete for that starting job.
We saw so many great flashes from Jalen Milroe when he was at Alabama. And speaking of flashes, we've seen that from the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, year after year, we see them start the season off slow, and then they pick things up towards the end. That 0-3 start was concerning last year, and they were better than that. So how can they avoid that slow start this year heading into training camp?
I think first things first is, you know, your defense isn't there, so the offense has to step up even faster. You have your 2 receivers, you have Joe Burrow, but all of a sudden, if Trey Hendrickson doesn't show up, if Shamar Stewart isn't signed, you have to understand that, okay, your schedule actually is very appealing when it comes to those first 3 games. You got the Cleveland Browns in there. You have an opportunity with Jacksonville Jaguars to start quickly because of easier schedule early on. And so Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins have to put the team on their back because the defense, at least when it comes to pass rush, may not be ready early.
I feel a lot better on this camping trip now that we have spoken to you, Sam. Thank you for your insight.
Across the league and 2 men camping in suits. Join me around the campfire, Mike Tannenbaum, put a little heat to our marshmallows here.
Jay, can you pass some graham crackers?
Sure, I'll get those for you, if I can get out of this chair. All right, so many new faces from the draft and from free agency, my friend. Excited to make a mark on their new team. So which happy camper do you foresee making the biggest impact?
Jay, we're going to go out to Las Vegas, where they may not be having a campfire, but Ashton Genty, Boise State running back, somebody that had massive production in college, almost 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, averaged 6.4 yards a carry. When you have a bad defense like the Raiders do, Jay, what do you want to do? You want to play keep away, and that's what Pete Carroll and offensive coordinator Chip Kelly are going to do. When you think about Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, this is a great way to keep those offenses off the field. Think about this is beast mode Vegas style for Pete Carroll.
I just wanted to remind you, I was told we should not eat these marshmallows. So don't eat them.
Well, it was beast mode, it had Skittles, so we're okay, not marshmallows.
Perfect. Uh-oh. There's a snake. Don't move. I'm kidding. Okay, let's move on, all right? Some teams got lost in the woods, my friend, lots of camping puns, to navigate their offseason plans. Which squad left you pining for more with what they accomplished?
The Dallas Cowboys, for two reasons. One, they have arguably the best young defensive player in the game in Micah Parsons. They should have signed him a year ago, Jay. That would have been roughly $35 million. Now, after Myles Garrett extension with the Browns, it's going to be north of $40 million. Why did you wait? So they didn't get Parsons signed, and then I'm really worried about their run defense. 30th in the NFL a year ago. They added Kenneth Murray. They re-signed Osa Uzuduke, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. And in that division, to get to where they want to go, stopping the Saquon Barkleys of the world, the run defense is a concern.
You know, I guess the Cowboys should have looked to their North Star for a little help with their decision-making. Okay. Before you go, sir, before this whole thing falls apart, I need you to pick a team that will be taking a hike, shall we say. Which playoff team from last season is most likely to miss it this season?
The Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Look, it's a one-year trial, but he's going to be 42 years old, no off-season program. And look, they have a great weapon, we know, in DK Metcalf. But after that, who is he going to be throwing the ball to? And when we think about Buffalo and Baltimore and Kansas City, those are going to be teams that could score prolifically. And although he's had a great career, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champ, Jay, I just don't know if there's enough there, and we'll be asking for some more in terms of their offense this year.
You say some more, like some more is good. That's my man. That's the punster right there, Mike Tannenbaum. Appreciate the knowledge, brother.
Is the audience pining for more?
Oh my gosh. Y'all got to wrap. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
One of the stories to come out of this trade, or topics of discussion, certainly nationwide, online, TV, radio, all of it, is that the Steelers gave raises to Jonnu Smith and to Jalen Ramsey, and they got a guy in TJ Watt looking for his, and he doesn't have it yet, and thus these two sides can split. And I now give you the floor on what the heck is going on between the Steelers and TJ Watt. Tom.
Like a lot of negotiations, Rich, the Steelers have been trying to give TJ Watt that raise. They've been trying to do an extension with him. The sides just aren't there yet in terms of exactly what that needs to look like. TJ Watt's due about $21 million in the last year of his contract. Certainly there's an acknowledgement for all parties that that's not the worth of TJ Watt. But the question becomes, with a 31-year-old pass rusher, are you willing to pay him upwards of $40 million per year coming off the back half of 2024 where he didn't and the defense didn't play the way that we've been accustomed to seeing them in the past? TJ Watt's been a durable player, but he has played through a lot of injuries too in recent years here. Again, the Steelers stand willing to pay him, Rich, and I would tell you, not making a prediction, but I would tell you, based upon my reading of the situation, if and when a deal gets done with TJ Watt in Pittsburgh, and I've said repeatedly here and elsewhere, I believe that they will find a way, if not before training camp, then before the season, to get that done. It is going to be north of Myles Garrett. It is going to be upwards of $40 million per year, which then in turn is going to have an impact on some of these other pass rushers that are looking for new deals as well. The question becomes, all right, if it's going to be whatever the number is, $41, $42 million, what's the structure of that? What are the guarantees in that contract?